Dr. Kyung-hee Yoon stood before the first class of the Galactic Wisdom Institute. 500 young aliens from 200 different species sat in the Great Hall. They were the brightest minds their worlds could offer. Today, they would begin, learning to think like humans. "You are here because your people made a choice," Dr. Yoon told them. "They chose to learn instead of surrender. They chose growth instead of conquest. This is the first step toward earning the stars." In the front row sat Krixhan, son of the warlord who had helped destroy the Velthari. Next to him was Quintel, daughter of the Trilaxian admiral who had died defending his homeworld. Behind them were young beings from across the galaxy, all ready to change how their species thought about the universe. The Devourer War had ended 6 months ago. Human ships had arrived just in time to teach the alien coalition new battle tactics. The ancient machines had been defeated, but barely. Billions of lives had been saved by human knowledge and alien courage working together. But the real victory was happening here, in this classroom. Lesson 1, Dr. Yoon said. Why do humans think differently than other species? A young hegemony student raised her hand. Because you are weak? She suggested. Some aliens laughed. Dr. Yoon smiled. An interesting theory. What is your name? Velari of the Korthak Collective. Tell me, Velari, if humans are weak, how did we keep peace in the galaxy for 3 centuries? Velari thought about this. Maybe being willing to help others makes you strong in ways that being selfish does not. Better? Anyone else? Krixhan stood up. His people were warriors taught to be strong and proud. My father told me humans were fools for caring about strangers. But when the Devourers came, human strangers saved our lives. Maybe caring about everyone makes you stronger than caring about just your own people. Dr. Yoon nodded. Both good answers. The truth is, humans learned something important very early in their history. We learned that helping others helps yourself, that protecting strangers protects your own family. That peace is stronger than war. She showed them pictures of Earth's history. Wars and conflicts, yes, but also cooperation and unity. Humans who had learned to work together despite their differences. Your species think in circles, she continued. Family first, then tribe, then species. But humans learn to think in straight lines. All people matter equally. This is why we could be fair judges between enemies. On the edge of human space, Ambassador Tae-ho Kim was preparing for his new job. After 7 years away from galactic politics, he was returning to the galaxy. Not as Earth's representative, but as the first director of the Wisdom Institute. Are you ready for this? Asked his old friend Haewon Park, now Secretary of Galactic Affairs. I hope so, Tae-ho replied. Teaching is harder than diplomacy. When you make peace between enemies, it lasts until they decide to fight again. But when you teach someone to think differently, it can last forever. The Institute was built on the neutral world of Haven, halfway between human space and the galactic core. Human teachers would work with alien students to create a new generation of leaders who thought beyond tribal interests. Captain Dongwoo Choi, now Admiral, commanded the fleet protecting the Institute. Many alien governments did not like the idea of their future leaders being corrupted by human thinking. Some had already sent ships to threaten the school. Let them come, Admiral Choi told his officers. We did not save the galaxy from the Devourers just to let small-minded politicians destroy the future. Inside the Institute, the real work was beginning. Dr. Jungmin Ko taught philosophy, helping alien minds understand concepts like universal justice and long-term thinking. Professor Sujin Lee taught biology, showing how diversity made species stronger. Ambassador Park taught history, sharing the lessons of human cooperation. But the most important teacher was Commander Woo Sung Park, who taught something called empathy training. Today, we will practice seeing through someone else's eyes, he told his class. Krixhan, you are a hegemony traitor. Velari, you are a Trilaxian refugee. Quintel, you are a Skarn soldier. I want you to solve a trade dispute from your new perspective. It was hard at first. The young aliens struggled to think like their traditional enemies. But slowly, they began to understand. When you really saw the world through someone else's eyes, it became harder to hate them. Months passed. The first class of students grew and changed. They started as representatives of their species, thinking only about their own people's interests. But gradually they began to think about everyone's interests. Crixhun, the young warrior, learned to solve problems with words instead of weapons. Quintel, the admiral's daughter, learned to see enemies as people with their own fears and needs. Velari, the wise Korthak, learned that sometimes the hardest choice was also the right choice. President Minho Kang visited the institute during the students' final year. He was amazed by what he saw. Young aliens who had arrived as tribal representatives were now thinking like galactic citizens. "Tell me," he asked Crixhun, "what is the most important thing you have learned here?" "That my enemies are not evil," the young warrior replied. "They are just people who are afraid of different things than I am. When I understand their fears, I can help solve their problems. When their problems are solved, they stop being my enemies." President Kang smiled. This was exactly what humans had hoped to achieve. The graduation ceremony was broadcast across the galaxy. 500 young aliens had completed their training. Now they would return to their homeworlds as something new. Leaders who thought beyond their own species' interests. Admiral Yejin Song, now elderly but still sharp, gave the graduation speech. "You came here as representatives of your people," she told the graduates. "You leave as guardians of all people. Use what you have learned wisely." The first test came quickly. A border dispute erupted between the Kalthon Empire and the Nexus Alliance. Before, this would have meant war. But now graduate Quintel stepped forward to mediate. She did not favor either side. She listened to both sets of fears and needs. She found a solution that gave each side what they really wanted, not just what they said they wanted. The dispute ended without a single death. More successes followed. Graduate Crixhun reformed his people's military culture, teaching hegemony, soldiers to protect instead of conquer. Graduate Velari established the first truly inclusive trade network, where small species had the same voice as large ones. Dr. Sujin Lee, now in her 80s, watched these changes with wonder. "They are not becoming human," she told her research team. "They are becoming what humans always hoped other species could be." Years passed. The Institute graduated class after class of transformed leaders. The galaxy slowly began to heal. Wars became less common. Trade became more fair. Different species began to trust each other again. But the real test came 20 years later, when the first non-human peacekeeping force was created. Led by graduates of the Institute, this force successfully stopped a war between two species that had been enemies for centuries. Admiral Su-Young Lim, now the head of Human Defense Forces, received the report with tears in her eyes. "They did it," she whispered. "They solved a problem without us." The galaxy had finally learned to govern itself. But the greatest moment came when Admiral Lim received an emergency communication from deep space. The sensors had detected something terrible, a new threat from beyond the galaxy's edge, something worse than the Devourers. The message that followed filled her with pride. It came from graduate Crixhun, now Supreme Commander of the Galactic Defense Force. "Admiral Lim," the message said, "we face a new enemy, but this time we face it together, human and alien, working as one people. Thank you for teaching us to be worthy of the stars." Looking out at the combined fleet, human ships, flying alongside alien vessels, all working toward the same goal, Admiral Lim smiled. Humanity had given the galaxy something more valuable than protection or rule. They had given them the wisdom to protect themselves. The galaxy was finally ready for whatever came next. And humanity could be proud of what they had helped create. Not subjects or allies, but true partners in the endless adventure among the stars. The lesson was complete. The students had become teachers, and the future belonged to all of them together. 5 years had passed since humans walked away. Dr. Gitai Huang finished his big research project and published it across human space. His book was called The Galaxy's Lost Conscience. "Humans were never just another species," he wrote. "They were the galaxy's moral center, the only people who could judge fairly between enemies. Without them, every conflict becomes total war. His research showed the terrible truth. In 5 years, more people had died than in the previous 50 years combined. Without human peacekeepers, every argument became a fight. Every fight became a war. Every war became genocide. On the ruins of the Velthari homeworld, former Councillor Vextar walked through empty cities. His people, the hegemony, had joined the alliance that destroyed the Velthari completely. Now he was starting to understand what they had really done. "We did not bring justice," he said to his aide, Captain Morhan. "We brought revenge. There is a difference. The Velthari had been evil, yes. They had turned human medicine into weapons of mass murder. But did that mean every Velthari child deserved to die? Did it mean their entire culture should be erased from history? Humans would have punished the guilty and saved the innocent," Vextar continued. "We just killed everyone. We became monsters to fight monsters." Back on Earth, Dr. Bo Ram Jang was updating her economic reports. The numbers were worse than anyone had imagined. "Galactic GDP has fallen by 90%, she told the Earth Economic Council. "Most worlds have returned to farming and basic crafts. Advanced technology is disappearing." Her assistant, Dr. Jun-Ho Park, showed her pictures from around the Eway galaxy. Space stations are being abandoned. Starships are breaking down. Some worlds have lost the ability to communicate with their own colonies. The galaxy was not just at war. It was falling backward in time. Without human trade networks, science, and technology, civilization itself was crumbling. "How long before they return to pre-space technology?" someone asked. "At this rate? Maybe 20 years, Dr. Yang replied sadly. In his secret laboratory, Dr. Valarin of the Korthak Collective was studying something terrible. His species had been humanity's oldest friends. Now they were paying a horrible price for that friendship's failure. He sent an encrypted message to Dr. Sujin Lee on Earth. The message contained genetic data that made her cry when she read it. "Several species are showing genetic breakdown," the message said. "Without the free movement of people that human peace allowed, our gene pools are becoming too small. We are starting to develop inherited diseases. Our children are being born weak and sick." Dr. Lee understood immediately. When humans kept peace between species, people could travel safely between worlds. Different groups could meet and marry. Genetic diversity stayed healthy. Now, with every species trapped on their own worlds by war, they were slowly inbreeding themselves to death. She calculated the numbers. If this continued, dozens of species would become extinct within a generation. Not from war, but from genetic collapse. But the worst news came from Captain Dongwu Choi's Deep Space Scouts. They had been watching the galaxy's edge for 5 years. Now they reported something that terrified Earth Command. "The Devourers are fully awake," he reported to President Kang. 50,000 ships, maybe more. They are heading toward inhabited space. The Devourers were ancient machines. Nobody knew who had built them or why. They had appeared 3,000 years ago, eating entire star systems before going dormant. Humans had helped build the sensor network that watched for their return. "Do the alien governments know?" President Kang asked. "No, sir. Their communication networks are too broken. Each world only knows what happens in their own system." "How long before the Devourers reach them?" 6 weeks for the first contact. 3 months before they reach the major worlds. President Kang felt the weight of billions of lives on his shoulders. The aliens had betrayed humanity's trust. They had used human gifts to commit terrible crimes. They had chosen politics over justice every time, but they were still people. They still had children who deserved to live. Admiral Yejin Song entered with more bad news. "Sir, we have reports of massive alien fleet movements. Someone is finally trying to organize a defense against the Devourers." "Who?" "A coalition led by young Admiral Quintel of the Trilaxian survivors and war leader Crixhan of the Nexus Alliance. They are gathering every ship they can find." President Kang knew those names. Quintel was the daughter of Admiral Quintar, who had died defending his homeworld. Crixhan was the son of the warlord who had helped destroy the Velthari. "How many ships do they have?" "Maybe 10,000. against 50,000 devourers. The math was simple. The aliens would lose badly. Without human technology and tactics, they had no chance against the ancient machines. "They are asking for our help, aren't they?" the president said. "Yes, sir. But not as rulers. They want us as partners." That night, President Kang could not sleep. He walked to his window and looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, brave young aliens were preparing to die, fighting an enemy they could not defeat. They were doing it to protect worlds that had betrayed them, just as those worlds had betrayed humanity. Dr. Kyung-hee Yoon knocked on his door. "Sir, we have received a personal message for you, from Admiral Quintel." The message was simple and heartbreaking. The young Trilaxian woman appeared on screen wearing the uniform of her dead father. "President Kang," she said, "I know humans have no reason to help us. We failed you when you needed us most. We chose politics over friendship. We let murderers escape justice because we were afraid of hard choices." She paused, and President Kang could see tears in her alien eyes. "But I learned something from watching humans all these years. I learned that sometimes you have to do the right thing even when people do not deserve it, even when they have hurt you, even when they will probably hurt you again." The message continued. "The devourers will kill billions of innocent people, children who never voted against humans, families who never hurt anyone. They will die because their leaders made bad choices." She looked directly at the camera. "I am not asking you to save us because we deserve it. I am asking you to save us because that is who humans are. You save people because it is right, not because it is easy." The message ended with 8 words that changed everything. "Please help us learn to be like you." President Kang called an emergency meeting of Earth's government. The debate lasted all night. Some wanted to let the aliens face the devourers alone. Others wanted to help, but only if the aliens agreed to become human subjects. But Dr. Jongmin Ko had a different idea. "What if we do not save them or rule them?" he asked. "What if we teach them to save themselves?" The room went quiet. This was a new thought. "Explain," President Kang said. "Humans are different because we learn to think beyond our own tribe," Dr. Ko said. "But we were not born that way. We learned it through thousands of years of mistakes and growth. What if we could teach other species to think the same way?" Admiral Song leaned forward. "You mean make them more like humans without making them human?" "Exactly. Teach them to see the big picture. Teach them to care about strangers. Teach them to choose justice over politics." President Kang thought about this. It was risky. The aliens might learn and then betray humans again, but it was better than ruling over them like emperors or watching them die like cowards. "How long would it take?" he asked. "Generations. But we could start with their best and brightest, the ones who are already trying to do the right thing." President Kang made his decision. "Send a message to Admiral Quintel and war leader Crixhan. Tell them Earth will help them fight the devourers. But our price is not surrender. Our price is that they send their brightest young leaders to learn from us. And if they refuse, then they face the devourers alone, and we live with the consequences." The message was sent. The alien coalition's reply came within hours. They agreed to Earth's terms. For the first time in 5 years, human ships prepared to leave their borders, not as conquerors or rulers, but as teachers preparing to give the galaxy one final lesson in how to be worthy of the stars. 2 years had passed since humans walked away from the galaxy. General Hyun-Soo Nam sat in his office on Earth, reading the daily reports. The numbers were terrible. 200 star systems were now at war with each other. "Sir," said his aide, "Captain Yoon Jung-ko, the Velthari Consortium has fallen. Their last world surrendered this morning." Hyun-Soo nodded. The Velthari were the ones who had turned human medicine into weapons. Now they were paying the price. 7 different alien species had united just to destroy them completely. "Any survivors?" he asked. "A few thousand. They are asking for human protection." Hyun-Soo almost smiled. "The same people who killed 50 million with our own technology now want us to save them?" "Yes, sir. Tell them what they told them, Iran. families. Tell them it is regrettable but not our concern. On the trade world of Nexus Prime, Minister Yoon-hee Shin was watching the markets collapse. She had been Earth's top trade expert before humans left galactic politics. Now she studied the economic disaster from afar. The shipping lanes are completely broken, she told her team. Pirates control half the trade routes. The other half are war zones. Her assistant, Dr. Tae-young Kim, showed her the latest numbers. Galactic trade is down 80% from 2 years ago. Most worlds cannot get basic supplies anymore. Yoon-hee looked at the charts. Before humans left, goods could travel safely across the galaxy in weeks. Now it took months and cost 10 times more. Many worlds were running out of food and medicine. The hegemony is asking to buy human ships, Dr. Kim reported. They offer to pay any price. What did we tell them? The same thing we tell everyone. Human technology stays in human hands. Far from Earth, the Trilaxian Republic was dying. These aliens had been humanity's best friends for centuries. Now they were fighting for their lives against the Calthon Empire. Admiral Quintar stood on the bridge of his last battleship. Around him, his homeworld was burning. Calthon ships filled the sky like angry wasps. "Admiral," said his officer, "our shields are failing. We have maybe 10 minutes before they break through." Quintar looked at the communication screen. For 2 years he had sent messages to Earth, begging for help, apologizing for not supporting humans when they needed it. Every message had been ignored. "Send one more message to Earth," he ordered. "Tell them the Trilaxian Republic dies today. Tell them we are sorry we failed as friends." On Earth, Captain Soo-young Lim received the message. She was now Admiral Lim, in charge of border security. She had watched the Trilaxians fight bravely for months. Part of her wanted to help them. But orders were orders. Human space stayed closed. In his laboratory, Dr. Jong-min Ko was writing a book. He called it The Human Paradox. His idea was simple. Humans were different from other aliens in one important way. They could care about strangers as much as they cared about friends. Other species think in circles, he wrote. First their family, then their tribe, then their species. But humans think about everyone equally. This made them perfect peacekeepers. Without them, the galaxy falls back into tribal wars. His book became very popular on Earth, but no aliens could read it. The translation networks had failed along with everything else. At the Proxima Gate border station, Captain Da-hoon Choi watched the biggest refugee fleet ever approach human space. Thousands of ships filled with families running from wars. "Sir," said his communications officer, "the fleet commander wants to speak with you." The alien on the screen was barely alive. His ship was damaged and leaking air. Behind him, Captain Choi could see injured children. "Human captain," the alien gasped. "We are the last survivors of the Yandari people. The Corvins killed the rest. Of us, please, just let our children live." The Yandari were the people who had been murdered at the peace conference. The peace conference that humans had promised would be safe. Captain Choi felt sick. These people had trusted humans to protect them. When that protection failed, they all died. Now their children had nowhere to go. "I am sorry," he said. "I cannot let you enter human space, but I can give you food and medical supplies." "Our children are dying," the alien pleaded. "They have done nothing wrong." "I know, but my orders are clear. Human space is closed to all non-humans." He watched the refugee ships turn away. Some were so damaged they would not survive the journey to find another home. The children aboard would die in space. That night, Captain Choi could not sleep. He kept thinking about those children. On the core world of Centralis, former Counselor Vextar was making a speech. The big blue alien who had once hated humans was now desperate for their return. "We were fools," he told the emergency assembly. "We treated humans like naive children. We thought their kindness was weakness. We were wrong." The other aliens in the assembly murmured agreement. The hegemony was falling apart. Without human trade, they could not feed their people. Without human peacekeepers, their enemies were attacking from all sides. "I propose we offer complete surrender to Earth," Vextar said. "We ask humans to rule us directly. We have proven we cannot rule ourselves. Many aliens agreed, but some were angry. You want to make us slaves to humans? Shouted Counselor Hector. Better to be human slaves than to be dead, Vextar replied. In deep space, something stirred. Dr. Sujin Lee's sensors detected it first. Strange signals from the galaxy's edge. Signals that had been quiet for thousands of years. The Devourer ships are moving, she reported to Earth Command. They have been sleeping for 3,000 years. Now they are waking up. The Devourers were the galaxy's nightmare. Ancient machines that ate entire worlds. Long ago, humans had helped build a warning system to watch for them. That system was now failing without human maintenance. How long, before they reach inhabited space? Asked General Nam. 6 months, maybe less. Do the aliens know? No, their communication networks are too broken to spread the warning. General Nam thought about this. The Devourers would kill billions of aliens. But those same aliens had refused to help humans when they needed it most. Should we warn them, sir? Dr. Lee asked. Not yet. Let them ask for help first. Let them admit they need us. President Minho Kang was in his office when the alien fleet arrived. 400 ships from 200 different species. The biggest diplomatic mission in galactic history. Leading them was Ambassador Yelthon of the Korthak Collective. The old alien looked tired and sad as he appeared on the communication screen. President Kang, he said, I speak for all the surviving governments of the galaxy. We come to surrender. Surrender? President Kang asked. Complete surrender. We offer to give up our independence. We ask Earth to rule the galaxy directly. We will obey any human law. We will accept any human leader. We just ask that you save us from ourselves. Around the president's office, his advisors looked shocked. The galaxy was offering to make humans their emperors. We know we do not deserve your help, Yelthon continued. We know we failed you as friends and allies. But our children are dying. Our worlds are burning. Please do not let pride kill billions of innocent people. President Kang looked at the alien fleet on his screen. So many ships. So many desperate faces. All looking to humans for salvation. I will consider your offer, he said finally. But surrender is not the answer you need. After the communication ended, Admiral Ye Jin-song entered the president's office. Sir, our deep space sensors show the Devourers are moving faster than expected. They will reach the Outer Rim worlds in 3 months. President Kang nodded grimly.
Then we have 3 months to find a better solution than ruling over the galaxy's ashes. Outside Earth's solar system, the alien fleet waited.
Inside each ship, beings who had once been proud and independent now hoped desperately that the humans they had betrayed would find it in their hearts to forgive. The galaxy had learned what life was like without humans. Now they would learn if humans could forgive what the galaxy had done to them. 6 months had passed since humans left the galaxy behind. Admiral Ye Jin-song stood on the bridge of her ship, looking at the screens. Each screen showed a different part of the galaxy. Each screen showed chaos. Admiral, said her officer, Lieutenant Bo Young-han, another war has started. The Kalthon Empire attacked the Trilaxian border worlds. Ye Jin nodded sadly. She had expected this. The Kalthons were always angry, always wanting to fight. Before, human peacekeepers had kept them calm. Now there was no one to stop them. How many dead, she asked. 2 million in the first day, Bo Young replied. The Trilaxians were not ready. They thought the peace treaty would protect them. The peace treaty that humans had made 5 years ago. The treaty that was now just paper. Ye Jin remembered Commander Quintar of the Trilaxian Navy. He was a good alien, brave and kind. His people had always been friends to humans. But even friends had not helped when humans needed them most. On Earth, Dr. Bo Rum Jang was working late again. Her desk was covered with numbers and charts. All the numbers were bad, very bad. The universal credit is falling fast, she told her assistant, Dr. Min-Soo Park. Without human banks to support it, nobody trusts the money anymore. The universal credit had been the galaxy's money for 200 years. Humans had created it. Human computers had managed it. Human honesty had made everyone trust it. Now it was becoming worthless. What about trade? Minsu asked. Boram pointed to another chart. Down 60% and still falling. The shipping lanes are breaking down. Pirates are attacking cargo ships. Nobody wants to travel without human protection. She was right. Human ships had always protected the trade routes. Human space stations had been safe places to rest and refuel. Human laws had kept pirates away. Without humans, space was becoming dangerous again. In the Korthak system, Ambassador Yelthon was meeting with his government. The Korthaks were old and wise. They had been humanity's first friends in space. Now they were scared. The Skarn Dominion has taken 3 of our colonies, reported General Kethmar. They know humans will not help us anymore. The Skarn were the Korthak's old enemies. For 50 years, a human peace deal had kept them apart. Both sides had signed the treaty. Both sides had promised to follow it. But the treaty only worked because humans were there to enforce it. Send another message to Earth, Yelthon said. Beg them to reconsider. Sir, said his aide carefully. This will be our 20th message. They have not answered any of them. Yelthon's shoulders sagged. He was old enough to remember the time before humans. It had been a dark time of constant war. Now those dark days were coming back. At the human border, Commander Woo-Sung Park watched refugee ships arrive. Hundreds of them every day. Families running from wars. Traders who had lost everything. Scientists whose worlds had been destroyed. Sir, said his communications officer, Ensign Dahi Kim, the Miran survivors are asking for permission to enter human space. Woo-Sung felt sick. The Miran were the people the Velthari had almost wiped out. The few who survived had nowhere else to go. What are our orders? He asked, though he already knew. No exceptions, sir. Human space is closed to all aliens. It was the hardest part of his job. Turning away people who needed help went against everything humans believed. But the orders were clear. Humans were done helping ungrateful aliens. He opened a channel to the Miran ship. This is Commander Park of the Earth Defense Force. I am sorry, but you cannot enter human space. We can give you food and medicine, but you must find somewhere else to go. The voice that answered was broken with sadness. Commander, our people are dying. Our children are sick. We have no money, no ships, no home. Please. Woo-Sung closed his eyes. I'm truly sorry, but you must understand, every time we helped, it was used against us. Every time we showed kindness, someone turned it into a weapon. On the hegemony homeworld, Counselor Vexitar was in an emergency meeting. The blue-furred alien who had always hated humans was now desperate for their help. The economy is collapsing, reported his finance minister. Our currency is worth nothing. Our trade partners do not trust us anymore. What about our military? Vexitar asked. Strong, but expensive. Without human trade income, we cannot afford to keep all our ships running, Vexitar growled. He had always said humans were weak. Now he was learning they had been the galaxy's strength all along. Dr. Kyung-hee Yoon was in her laboratory on Mars, listening to the galaxy's communications, or trying to. The great communication network was failing. Another relay station went dark, her technician reported. That makes 57 this month. The quantum relay stations let people talk across the galaxy instantly, but they needed constant maintenance. Human engineers had built them. Human technicians had fixed them. Now they were breaking down one by one. How long before the whole network fails? Dr. Yoon asked. At this rate? Maybe 2 years. Then each world will be alone again. President Min Ho Kang was in his office, reading reports. Each report was worse than the last. Wars starting, economies crashing, refugees dying, all because humans had walked away. His advisor, Secretary Jin-Woo Lee, knocked on the door. Sir, we have another request for help. The Velthari Consortium is under attack. Minho looked up sharply. The Velthari? The ones who turned our medicine into weapons? Yes, sir. 3 different species have united to destroy them. They are asking for human protection. Minho almost laughed. Let me understand this. They use our gifts to commit genocide. Then when their victims' friends come for revenge, they want us to save them? That is correct, sir. Tell them no. Tell them exactly what they told us when we asked for justice. Tell them it is regrettable, but not our problem. On the edge of human space, Captain Su-Young Lim was patrolling the border. Her job was to keep aliens out and humans safe, but it was hard to watch the suffering outside their borders. Captain, called Lieutenant Hyun Woo Jang. We are getting a distress call from a Trilaxian ship. They are under attack by pirates. Through the viewscreen, Su-Young could see the battle. A small Trilaxian merchant ship was being attacked by 3 pirate vessels. Before, human patrol ships would have stopped the pirates quickly. Now the Trilaxians were on their own. Can we help them, Captain? The lieutenant asked. Su-Young wanted to say yes. Every human instinct told her to help people in danger. But her orders were clear. No. We stay on our side of the border. They watched as the pirate ships destroyed the merchant vessel. All aboard were killed. The pirates took the cargo and flew away. This feels wrong, Captain, Lieutenant Jang said quietly. I know, Su-Young replied. But this is what the galaxy chose. They wanted to solve problems with politics instead of justice. Now they can live with the results. Back on Earth, Dr. Soo-Jin Lee was updating her predictions. The galaxy was falling apart even faster than she had expected. The war count is up to 47 active conflicts, she told her research team. Trade is down 70%. 3 major currencies have collapsed completely. How long until total breakdown? Asked her assistant. At this rate? 18 months, maybe less. She looked at the star map on her wall. Red dots showed wars. Yellow dots showed economic collapse. Gray dots showed worlds that had gone silent. There were too many dots to count. The galaxy is learning what life is like without humans, she said sadly. I hope the lesson is not too expensive. But even as she spoke, more red dots appeared on the map. More wars were starting, more people were dying, and there were no humans coming to help. The galaxy had wanted independence from human influence. Now they were getting exactly what they had asked for. They were learning to regret it. The Great Hall was huge, so huge that Tae-ho Kim felt small as he walked to the center. Above him, thousands of alien creatures sat in their seats. Some had wings, some had many arms, some looked like giant bugs. All of them were staring at him. Tae-ho had given many speeches in this place. For 20 years, he had been Earth's voice in the Galactic Council. He had helped stop wars. He had made peace deals. He had saved millions of lives. Today was different. Today he would end it all. Behind the glass wall, Haewon Park watched her friend. She knew what he was about to say. She had helped write the words. Her hands were shaking. In her bag was a file. The file had pictures of dead children, dead families, all killed by weapons that humans had made to help, not to hurt. The room was loud. Aliens were talking in hundreds of different languages. Some were clicking, some were making bird sounds, some sounded like music, but all of them stopped when Tae-ho raised his hand. I speak for Earth today, Tae-ho said. His voice was calm, but Haewon could see his jaw was tight. I speak for all humans in the galaxy. In the front row, Counselor Vextar leaned forward. The big alien looked like a bear, but with blue fur and 4 eyes. He had always been rude to humans. He thought humans were weak because they cared about other species. We are leaving, Tae-ho said. The room went quiet. Not just quiet, silent. Like someone had turned off all sound in the universe. Humans are done with galactic politics. We are done with your wars. We are done with your lies. We are going home. Now the room exploded. Aliens jumped up. They were yelling and screaming. Some were pointing at Tae-ho. Some were hitting their desks. The sound was so loud it hurt. Prime Minister. Zulthara stood up fast. She was tall and thin like a stick with arms. Her people, the Trade Federation, made money from human shipping routes. Without humans, they would lose billions. You cannot do this, she screamed. Think of the trade deals. Think of the money. Tae-ho did not move. He waited. Slowly, The room got quiet again. For 300 years, humans have helped you, he said. We stopped your wars before they started. We shared our technology. We gave you our medicine. We saved your children from diseases. And how do you pay us back? He pulled out a small device. The air above him lit up with pictures. Pictures of burned cities. Pictures of dead families. Pictures of children who would never grow up. The Velthari Consortium took our medical nanobots, Tejo said. His voice was getting louder. Nanobots we made to heal the sick. They changed them. They made them into weapons. They used them to kill every living thing on 12 Miran worlds. The pictures kept changing, more death, more destruction. All done with human technology that was meant to save lives. 50 million Miran died in one day, Tejo said. Men, women, children, babies. All killed by human technology that the Velthari stole and twisted. In her seat, Haiwan was crying. She had been to those worlds after the attack. She had seen what was left. Nothing, just empty cities and dead ground where nothing would ever grow again. We asked you to punish the Velthari, Tejo continued. What did you do? You said it was regrettable. You gave them a fine. A fine for 50 million murders. He looked around the room, at Vextar, who had voted against punishing the Velthari, at Zulthara, who had worried more about trade than justice, at all of them. Then last month, the Corvin Imperium used our peace treaty as a trap. They invited the Yandari to peace talks. When the Yandari came without weapons, trusting our promise of safety, the Corvins killed them all. More pictures appeared. A meeting room full of dead bodies, aliens who had trusted humans to keep them safe. You said that was unfortunate, Tejo said. Not wrong, not evil, just unfortunate. Dr. Sujin Lee was watching from her lab on Earth. She had predicted this day would come. Her studies showed that other species thought differently than humans. They cared about their own people first, then their friends, then their allies. But they never cared about strangers the way humans did. We tried to teach you, Tejo said. We tried to show you that all life matters. That peace is better than war. That helping others helps everyone. But you only learned to use our kindness against us. Captain Dongwu Choi was in his ship above the council station. His job was to protect the human delegation. Around his ship, alien warships were moving. Some species were getting ready to force humans to stay. He was ready for them. So we are done, Tejo said. Effective immediately. Humanity withdraws from all galactic organizations. We cancel all trade deals. We end all defense agreements. We are recalling all human ships, all human diplomats, all human teachers and doctors and engineers. Now the real panic started. Species that had grown dependent on human help suddenly realized what they were losing. The hegemony worlds needed human food. The outer colonies needed human protection. The core worlds needed human trade routes. You cannot abandon us, shouted Ambassador Kelnari of the Trilaxian Republic. Her people had been humanity's closest allies. We have been friends for centuries. Friends do not lie to friends, Tejo replied. Friends do not steal from friends, and friends do not help murderers escape punishment. He was talking about the Trilaxian vote last month. Even they had voted to let the Velthari keep their council seat after the genocide. Please, said Elder Korthvan of the Korthak Collective. He was old and wise and had always respected humans. Think of all the good we have done together. Think of all the lives we have saved. For a moment, Tejo's face softened. The Korthak had tried to be good allies, but even they had chosen politics over justice when it mattered. I am thinking of them, Tejo said quietly. I am thinking of all the lives we could have saved if you had helped us stop the killers instead of protecting them. He turned to face the whole council. From now on, human space is closed to all of you. Our borders are sealed. Our help is ended. You are on your own. The noise in the room was incredible now. Hundreds of species all shouting at once. Some were begging. Some were threatening. Some were already planning wars without human peacekeepers to stop them. Tejo picked up his papers. He walked toward the exit. Behind him, Heywan gathered her things. Around the galaxy, other human diplomats were doing the same thing. "This is madness," Vextar roared. "Without humans, the galaxy will fall apart." Tejo stopped at the door. He looked back one last time. "Then maybe," he said, "it is time for you to learn to put it back together yourselves." The human delegation left the council chambers. They would never return. Behind them, the greatest political alliance in galactic history began to crumble. In Ais, her lab, Dr. Su-Jin Lee started her countdown clock. Her model said the galaxy had maybe 2 years before complete collapse. She hoped they were wrong. They were not.